What's up, people? Coming to you with a video just addressing, how I feel like people don't truly care about you. And I say that with all sincerity. I say that not to, throw a pity party and none of that. It is what it is. Male, female, I know both of us, whether you're male, female, I know we can all relate to that. We know what it feel like to feel like nobody truly care about you. But, me breaking that down in this video is just from a perspective of being a man, you know, uh, being of age and family expecting you to, be strong and to, handle things and get through it, right? But I'll be honest with you, I'm human just like everybody else. And I take on quite a bit to feel like I'm really alone in a lot of different ways. And I say that because I feel like there's a lack of respect, a lack of understanding. I'm misunderstood by a lot of people around me. And it's for a lot of different reasons. But collectively, that's put me in a position where I feel like nobody truly knows me. I've went through a lot of growth over the years. A lot of people know the person I was. And I don't know if anybody else deal with that. But when you evolve as a person and you start making changes and you become a different individual, people that have known you all your life, they really start feeling like they don't know who you are or that you're changing. And it's not always a good thing. You know what I mean? In terms of how they see you, they feel like it's not a good thing. You could be making all types of positive changes in your life, but people will still look at that as if it's something wrong with you. Now, I may or may not have brought this up in other videos. And, as of late, I've recorded a couple videos and I just haven't posted them for different reasons. But for this particular video, I want to also make a point that I'm saying I brought up in other videos, but it's the idea of you start to make people learn about themselves and see who they truly are. And so instead of some people, being encouraged, which is what my channel is all about, encouraging, some people feel some type of way. And when you get around people that feel some type of way, it becomes something where you start feeling isolated. Like, even though they're in the room with you, you feel like they're not. Like, they're not on your side. They don't understand you. They don't get you. And it creates this disconnect. Me personally, some of the people closest to me, I know that they wish me well and want me to be okay. But they don't know me enough in these current days to truly, like, I guess, come off as if they really care. Because I think if you really care about somebody, you're not going to have this picture of what you want from them and how they should be, basing it on the person you've known for all this time. And then when they show you something else and they're not harming anybody, they're just making personal progress. They might handle situations a little different with a little more maturity. And if you're a person that handles things the same way you've been handling them, it starts to make you look crazy. They start looking at themselves and feeling some type of way, like, becoming resentful towards you and everything negative that come out of that. You start feeling alone when you make changes that other people can't. It's a lot of things that you deal with. You sort through your own dirty laundry and figure out what it is holding you back that has nothing to do with anybody else. But when you overcome a lot of that, it seems like the people, again, that are closest to you are the ones who don't want to see that for some reason. And I'm not saying everybody, but it's clear that it's not always the upside when you make these changes or you just start moving different or just being you, and just with the course of time, having different interests and different perspectives on things from, the wisdom you pick up that they should pick up, because if they've been around you and you of age, you out here paying bills, taking care of life and life happening, everybody dealing with the things they deal with, you would expect people to have some type of understanding enough to, like, empathize with, where you are. And maybe they're not, but it's still a respecting to be like, you know what? I see this person is fighting against the same battle I'm fighting against. They might make a few extra steps than I have or whatever the case is, but it's always a learning back and forth experience. We both mature adults that's out here trying our best. So, and it ain't even got to be both. It could be multiple people. Like I said, it's not just, a relationship, a friendship, dealing with one family member. This is like a collection of people in your life that you have to deal with in most cases when it comes to this. It's for sure a collective effort. And, things, situations, everything, experiences, all this stuff comes off as if these people in these situations aren't fit for you. You know what I mean? And so you feel isolated. You feel like eventually you'll be in a space where it all connects. But when you're going through that process of dealing with all of this, it's exhausting, man. And, I feel like it's important to bring that up during this video because I know it's not just me going through this. It's a tough little situation to deal with, bottom line. I don't know if it's growing pains. People call it different things, growing pains, adversity, uphill battle. But it looks good on the other side. You know how people say that, which is true. You going uphill, man, it's some resistance. Just naturally, gravity resists, it's easier to go downhill. I brought that up a couple times, just to help drive that point that, going up ain't always easy. But, when you put that work in, you getting progress out of it, though. It's easy to go with the flow and let gravity bring you down going downhill, but it is just what it sounds like. You going down, and not making no progress, or even just being neutral, coasting, just the easy way. Like sometimes you need them different, terrain, uphill, downhill, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Left, right, it is what it is, but that's what life is. And when you understand things from this side of it, you start, like I said, making different decisions, moving different. But then people that you've dealt with, you start seeing them a little different because how they treat you is, again, the way they treated the old version of you, the person that you've outgrown. So it's a tough dynamic, man. And I definitely want to know if other people, that are watching these videos deal with this stuff. So it's important for me to emphasize that, when you watch this content, my goal at the end of it is for you to just drop some type of feedback to let me know that I ain't by myself with this. I'm speaking to all my good people, all my coworkers, the ones out here putting in that work, whether it's working on you as a person, working at a job, working to get out of that job to have your own business that you're trying to start and that you will start, because trying is just not enough. You know what I mean? Actually making it happen, having that mindset by any means, So I ain't gonna make this video too long. I just really wanted to bring that up and give my opinion on just this whole thing with, feeling like nobody really cares about you. And I know that that's a real thing. You start feeling like, man, like, do people even care to even get to know who I really am or where I'm at in life? Or you ask me if I'm okay, but it's like, do you really mean that? Or are you just saying it because that's what you're supposed to say? And it might not even be a struggle. It's something that they realize. But when people ask you that question, sometimes I'm thinking like, do you really mean that? Or are you just saying it because it sounds cool and that's what you're supposed to do as a human being? But like, do you honestly, truly want to know how I'm doing, how I'm feeling? Because I got people in my life. I'm not going to single out nobody in particular, but it's like I'm damned if I do. I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't, right? And the reason I say that is like, I could be having a day for, a lot of different reasons. I'm just kind of reserved to my thoughts or whatever, still communicating, still being courteous, polite to people, these family members, just cool. I know I'm not making no change. And then sometimes I intentionally make sure that I'm hitting the markers of being courteous, being nice, being the same me, but still internalizing my personal struggles or whatever it might be that day that I'm dealing with. But it's like, if I volunteer and then just coexist and express maybe some things that's troubling me, it gets shut down. Like, oh, you complaining, or oh, don't worry about this, don't do that. So whatever it might be, I just keep it to myself. When I had them down times, I tend to just say, okay, you got to start internalizing this, because if you open about it, you start to look like it's a problem. Like, you start feeling like, why even say something? You get what I'm saying? So when you don't say anything, now it's like you have an attitude, you're being closed off, you don't want to communicate with people, and it starts to come off like you're the problem. So it's like, what do I do to fix this? I don't understand it. Like, I'm trying to still be cool, still make sure you know that we good, but life is happening. There's things that I deal with that I'm trying to figure out a balance. As I sort through it, I'm trying to still be the same, not the same me, because it's, nobody trying to just be stuck in one place, but I'm trying to give you that same good energy or that same, neutralness that you deserve. If you ain't did nothing to me, why would I take it out on you? That's what I try not to do. I definitely don't take things out on people. So it just puts me in a tough spot. I understand people have their own things that they dealing with. And so sometimes they don't know how to handle that, and you might be better with handling your stuff these days. So that just does something to people, man. I don't know. But yeah, again, I don't want to make it too long. I just had to go on that little last tangent, just hit me. And that's how I go with my channel, So I'm going to be talking about things, and I might get some more thoughts before I wrap up. For some reason, towards the end of the video, I think I did like one of my other recent videos like that. I just went on like a little tangent at the end. Some stuff started hitting me. It's like my thoughts start saying, hey, don't forget me. Like, I got something to say too. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But yeah, y'all be cool, man. I appreciate you tapping in. Been working on this brand forever. Like, I don't even know why I'm saying it like, something that's new. I've been working on my brand for a minute, the Fresh Paint Company. You can definitely visit my website, getfreshpaint.store. I appreciate anybody checking out, all my designs that I put on t-shirts, hats, or whatnot right now, hoodies. But the whole concept behind my brand is just, wearable art. This is an expression of fresh paint and what it means. Applying fresh paint to things just rejuvenates it, restores it. All the benefits, to seeing the glass half full. So I'm gonna leave it there, man. I appreciate you checking out the content. Definitely a like, you commenting, subscribing helps me out, lets the algorithm know that I'm out here working, doing what I got to do to build this community. So again, I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all be cool. It's work.